Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another IT class with your teacher, Mr. Anderson. Today, we'll be going into flowcharts, which is another way of representing an algorithm. So let me quickly share my screen with you and we will comment. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. So today we'll be doing flowcharts. Like I said earlier, it's another way of representing an algorithm, okay? So today, our objectives, you're going to explain the shapes used in a flowchart. We're going to define the term flowchart. And using real life scenarios, we're going to represent an algorithm using a flowchart. Let's begin. Okay, let's define a flowchart. What is a flowchart? A flowchart is a pictorial way of representing an algorithm using a set of standard symbols. Different symbols represent input, processing, and output operations. So instead of drawing a table, instead of writing pseudocode, we now get to draw our algorithm or solutions to our problem. Okay? So in a flowchart, we use various symbols. Okay? And each symbol has a specific operation in the flowchart. All right. The first symbol, as you can see, it's an oval and it represents start and end in your solution, in your flowchart. Okay. So where would you have, let's say if you had your pseudocode, you would have start to the beginning and end to the bottom part of your pseudocode. In a flowchart, this must be replaced with that oval. Okay. Next, we have arrow lines. Sometimes we call it flow lines. Okay. So it connects the various shapes together, basically representing the flow of sequencing in your flowchart. Okay. So those arrows or flow lines must be included in your flowchart. Next, we have a parallelogram representing input and output. Then we have a rectangle, which represents processing. So all processing is represented by a rectangle. Next, we have a diamond. Sometimes we call it a rhombus. Okay, and it indicates a decision happening in your flowchart. Okay, so these are the symbols we use to create a flowchart in problem solving. Quick question. Which is the only flowchart symbol which must be used at least twice in every flowchart? Can someone answer this?
The oval.
Very good. Okay, because we know you must start and stop your flowchart, so the oval must be used at least twice. Very good, Valerie. Okay, indicates the start and stop of the solution. Okay, let's solve a problem. Let's look at this problem. Okay, so the first one, sketch a flowchart to calculate and display the tax of 5% on an item. Okay, so we begin our flowchart. As you can see, we start off with an oval. Okay, we start our flowchart. Now you can see our flow line or arrows connecting to the other symbol. Okay, and the other symbol, which symbol is that? I didn't hear you, Christina. A parallelogram. Very good. Okay, so a parallelogram. We want to ask the user to enter the price of the item. Okay, we want to prompt the user to enter that. Okay, so we use a parallelogram, and this represents output. Okay, then we have our flow line connecting to the other symbol, which we want to get the price of the item. So we have a variable called price of item, and we put this into a parallelogram representing input. Remember, in a flowchart, the parallelogram represents both input and output. Okay, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're moving along. So now that we entered our price of the item, okay, our next step, we want to do a calculation in our flowchart, okay? Now, calculation is processing happening in your flowchart. So that means we use the rectangle. And as you can see here, within the rectangle, I have the formula to calculate the tax, because that's what the problem asks for, to calculate the tax, 5% tax on the item. So tax equals 0.05 times the price of item. Always remember to change your percentage into a decimal number. Okay, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Again, we follow in a logical sequence after we allow the user to enter the price of the item. We now do the calculation to find the tax. And then our next step, we want to display the tax. So we're going down with an arrow for a flow line. Next step, we want to display the tax. And as you can see again, that's an output. So that means we use a parallelogram. Clear, everyone? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And we have nothing else to complete, no other instructions to include in our flowchart. So we simply end our flowchart using another terminal or oval. Okay. And that's a very simple flowchart for a simple problem. Okay, everyone understands?
Yes.
Sir.
Okay, good.
Or maybe a comment. The
Go ahead.
question that you asked a while ago about the symbol, which one comes at least twice, then I guess it's safe to say that we use the parallelogram twice too, because you have one and one out.
Remember, that must come appear at least twice. Okay. Yes.
Ted?
Right.
Yeah, but I'm siding with Christina because we must have an input and we must have an output.
That depends on the nature of the problem.
There's a problem with no input or no output?
It can be.
Okay.
If I want, I could say, all right, let's see, could I have a problem saying display or sketch a flowchart to display the text hello world. Right.
Understood.
Right. So there's so many different problems, so many different scenarios you can use in problem solving in flowcharts. Okay. That was a good point. That was a good point. All right, let's move on. Okay, so I have an activity for you all to do. I'm going to post this worksheet, the link, in the chat so you can complete it. Okay. Where's the chat? Okay, I posted it in the chat. So click the link and complete. There are two worksheets there. Just complete those worksheets. Okay, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, who's completed?
I'm done, sir.
Okay, Shanik, would you like to share what you have? Let's see.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes. So the first one was to calculate the area of a rectangle. Okay, and you see we need to select the various flowchart symbols, put them in the correct logical sequence. So what did you do? Explain your process.
First, I commence the algorithm. So start with the oval. Then
Okay,
I
good.
input the length and the width with the parallelogram. And I found the area, which is the processing using the rectangle.
Very good.
And this is the output, the answer, and you end.
Okay, very good. Okay, Shanik.
Yeah.
You just did the first one?
Yes.
All right, good. Anybody did the second one? Can't hear you, Christina. Still can't hear you.
I'm just finishing up the last one.
Okay. Okay, we're going to wait on you. We're going to see what you have. We still can't hear you. Still can't.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you now.
Okay, I'm only missing 2 more to put in place.
All right, no problem. Is there an issue with your mic?
Can you hear me?
Can I hear you now?
Okay, share my screen. So this is the last one, right? For the first one, I got the same as Shanik. And for the last one, I started. Then I had my inputs, my fruits, bowls, spoons, etc.
Very good.
I washed my fruits, bowls, spoons nice, cut the fruits, put them into the bowl, put sugar, lemon, etc. Mix them, and I have my fruit salad.
All right, good. Very good. Okay. So I see you'll understand the concept of a flowchart and understand the meaning of the shapes used in a flowchart. Okay, that's very good, everyone. You still sharing?
No, sir.
All right. Okay, great. Let's go back to here. Okay, so today we use a flowchart to represent an algorithm. Okay, we understand what the shapes in a flowchart mean and the operations and how they are used in a flowchart. Okay, we got familiar with the basic shapes: an oval, a parallelogram, rectangle, flow lines, arrows, and a rhombus or a diamond. Okay, so in doing IPO charts, in doing pseudocode, and in doing flowchart, which one will be the most easier one for you or the best one you think to use? Which one do you prefer? You prefer to draw your solution
Over the flow chart.
before the flowchart? All right, good. All right, good. Okay. Christina, you?
I think the flow chart may be a bit easier to do.
All right.
So I think I choose flow chart.
All right, good. Okay, so this is the end of our class, and I would see you in the next one. Okay, everyone, have a good afternoon and goodbye. Take care.
All right. Bye, everyone.